All right. Hello. Thank you so much for doing this with me. First of all, I really sincerely appreciate it. And I'm sorry for joining late. Um, I have never actually talked to you before. I've followed you for some time and I've seen a lot of the things that you post. And I've been doing this series where I essentially just talk to Instagram admins that I really like to get to know them a little bit better and understand, what compels someone to share the things that they share. Um, So yeah, thank you so much for that. You mentioned briefly as part of our setup that you've done a lot of interviews. So I'm going to ask you about that. What makes a great interview, and what do you hope that this conversation will be like?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. Well, I don't write my interview questions ahead of time, and I feel like there's like differing, um, like people have different philosophies on interviewing, or they have different kind of like approaches to it. For me, if I write questions ahead of time, I end up not asking enough follow-ups.
Oh,
And so I just kind of get on the phone with people and start talking to them, which sometimes is not a great thing. Like in my mind, I plan it out, but
yeah, yeah,
yeah, I think a good interview is like you're asking good questions, but you also leave a little room, in case the person says something really crazy where you can be like, wait a minute,
yeah, for
what?
sure. Okay, that's good. I'll try my best to do that. I have, like I mentioned, a battery of questions, but they're grouped into categories that I'm just like curious about, and if the conversation takes us in any one direction, we'll go with it. If someone has not seen you before, how do you describe your online presence?
Oh God. It's kind of all over the place. I have a large online footprint, I guess. I post a lot of places. I cover social media for a living,
Mm.
and I cover it from the user side. So I'm a user of like every app with a login page. Um,
But at a
and
professional capacity, or
no, just for fun. I
okay,
mean, I guess like I don't really have a distinction between my work life and my personal life because I write about social media and I spend so much time online that I just kind of like I don't distinguish between like work time online and non-work time
yeah,
online very well.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, it's I guess I would say chaotic maybe. Just listen to a lot
yeah.
of people.
What's the typical like response from people that follow you? What do they tell you?
Oh God. Well, right before I came on here, I was looking on Twitter and all these people were complaining about my too many of my posts showing up in their threads feed. I just joined Instagram
Oh,
threads. And they
okay.
were like, we don't follow her. Why is she here? And I was like, oh, I'm sorry that you're getting my content shoved in your face. But normally I post like just things I find funny or interesting. I'm a journalist, so
Hmm.
like well, you can't share links on Instagram, but on Instagram stories, I post sometimes articles. I post a lot of like what I find interesting or what I care about and stuff I find funny.
And what makes something interesting to you?
I'm very interested in technology and the internet. So I love stories that have to do with that. And then I love just interesting, like long read type stories. I don't know. I just finished the Stockton Rush story in the New Yorker. That was so crazy about the Titanic submersible guy.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Oh my God, insane. The New Yorker story is so crazy because he's like just every step of the way, like fucked up like he was definitely gonna die at
Yeah.
some point with
Right.
what he was doing. Um, and then I share a lot of stuff I care about, like in terms of maybe um like certain issues. Maybe like if something's important to me, I'll post about it.
Yeah. Give me
Uh,
an example. What would that look like?
well, I'm super immunocompromised, so I care a lot about like COVID safety. Like, for instance, right now, um, they've made it so that hospitals can kill people with COVID and infect them and take no safety protocols, and you can't sue the hospital.
Mm.
And I think that's wrong and disgusting and horrible.
Mm.
That's not true for any other disease. So stuff like that, like
Interesting. Okay.
happy
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, stuff I care about, like and sometimes people send me things too that they want attention on.
What do they send you?
Sometimes it's, like, their stories or they're trying to get people to go to an event or, like, there's something going on somewhere that they're like, "Oh, I'm trying to get the word out about XYZ, like, can you share it?"
Okay.
So I
Okay.
always
And you said you're present on Threads and Twitter and Instagram. Where else?
TikTok, YouTube. I have a Twitch, but I mostly just use on it to go like on other people's streams. Um, Threads, Blue Sky, Mastodon,
Oh,
Spill.
buddy. Okay. You've got a lot.
I have everything. I don't know. Like, I mean, like I said, I kind of just I like to I'm really interested in social media products and I write about it for a living.
Yeah.
So a lot of apps I get invited to early.
Okay.
Um, so I just, you know,
So Threads have
sign up.
they've only recently launched that to the public, right? Like I don't know, a week ago.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, what's it like for you?
So far, it's been interesting. There's a lot of brands on there, a lot of people with Instagram accounts who don't really know what to say. I think a lot of people just use Instagram to share like photos of their family,
Hmm.
um, and they don't really use it to express themselves very much. So I think it's been funny to watch people like that try and adapt to Threads where you have to have something to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. I love that sort of awkward first stumbling steps on a new social media platform, and you see that people they get really excited and then a little bit maybe like baffled and can't find the right words or the right sentiment to share. Yeah, I
You know,
it's fun.
there's a lot
And
of people. Oh, sorry.
no, no, go ahead.
There's a lot of people posting really dumb engagement bait that's like chocolate or vanilla. What should I do this weekend?
Yeah,
You know, like they just don't have anything to say.
but I see that on every platform. Even after it's mature. And I think the prime example for me is YouTube. You know, you see that people just want to smash that subscribe button and like button and hit the notification bell and all those things, and then they talk about that for a minute, and then they get into whatever like the listicle that they're trying to share, and then a reminder to subscribe again. And it's like, what happened to just sharing stuff that would be helpful and useful and interesting and personal to people? Yeah.
I know. Yeah,
Um,
I I feel you on that. I
I,
always skip those parts of the YouTube videos.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the little what's it called, like the chapter thing is a godsend for that specific
Yeah,
reason.
100%.
But people do that, they try to game everything so they can get some sort of like commercial advantage, I guess, so they can
Yeah.
have more control over stuff. I know you from Instagram. Uh, when did you start your account there?
God, well, I started actually, let's see when I joined my original Instagram. Um,
Is this a personal one or is it the account that I'm familiar with?
the account that you're talking about, I started, I think like maybe a year and a half ago on
Yeah,
my spam page. I've had a lot of pages over the years. I mean, I joined Instagram right when it launched, like back in the day. I don't even know how to tell that, but
yeah,
uh, like really early.
like
I just
2011 or whatever. Yeah,
yeah, like everyone else. And then I've had a lot of accounts over the years because I used to make theme accounts.
oh, fun.
Sometimes. Like, the ones I made were about the royal family, like, in the UK, because that was really popular in, like, 2013, 2014, 2015.
Yeah,
Or, like, what was, like, 2013, 2014. 2014 was, like I can't remember, it was, like, the royal wedding, like, the Kate Middleton stuff, and then the baby, Prince Baby George.
right.
Um,
And
so
then
I
was it
was
2016 when the queen fell ill? Yeah, and people were
oh,
concerned.
maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
By
lived there at
20
the time, so I remember seeing the news stories. Yeah.
yeah. 2016, I was really into Snapchat, and I had a
Mm,
Snapchat show. Um, I was covering the election, but yeah, it was such a funny era. Anyway, I've always been an Instagram addict, and I love Instagram. It was a love-hate relationship, like a lot of users, but I don't know, it's just fun to be on there.
what do you love?
Um, I like expressing myself on there and I like sharing funny things and meeting people and getting a sense of people's personality and sense of humor and you don't have to be on video and I really like that. Like I mean, I know they're pushing reels, but I don't love putting my face on camera.
Mm. Well, I
um
appreciate you doing this with me.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, no, I mean like I don't mind it. I just prefer like if I'm going to do like cuz I post every single day all day and it's a lot to like post a video of yourself every day.
Yeah.
I know TikTokers do it.
But there's
I
a production
just
around it for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I like Instagram because you can just share funny stuff and you
Yeah.
don't have to put yourself on camera.
Yeah, for sure. How have your accounts changed since you first started?
Well, how have they changed? Um, I guess I don't know. I'm trying to think how like what's changed. I haven't like really it's more like I guess the accounts that I used to start were more um like theme based and now I just started posting funny things. Kind of more like Tumblr. I used to have a lot of Tumblrs that I would basically do the same thing on and I guess I treat Instagram more like Tumblr now in
Yeah.
that sense like kind of
Yeah,
reshare
I see
stuff.
that for sure. I do the same thing. Like it feels it's drifting away from having something clear to say, and it's more like a tone that I'm trying to maintain, I guess. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. When you think about the future, where do you think your Instagram will be going?
Hopefully not deleted from community guidelines violations. That's the annoying thing about Instagram is they have really strict community guidelines violations and they have no understanding of nuance or humor, like just in terms of sarcasm. And so a lot of my content has been removed, I think unfairly.
Mm,
And I'm not talking problematic content. I'm talking like just like silly jokes that don't have anything to do with
yeah,
it's just so arbitrary. So hopefully it will still be around in another year. And I don't know. I like meeting people. And I think like what I try with my account, I guess if it has a goal, which it doesn't really have a goal, but like I really like finding other people and having a community of people that have the same sense of humor as I do and kind of the same like outlook on the
totally.
world as I do.
Yeah,
That's kind of what I like to like want to find with my account. I'd love to find more people like that, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, for sure. I think you and I share a lot of that, definitely. Um, on the topic of the community guidelines, um, why are they the way they are?
Well, I mean, the problem with social media is like these tech companies are like they're not good at they know that they have to like remove a certain type of content. Like they know that they can't have like too much gore on the platform or people will just not use it. It'll be like look at what's happening to Twitter. Like it's a mess because they don't like I wouldn't even say moderate enough, but like curated enough, I guess. Like they don't allow users to see like what they want and have enough control over their own experience.
Hmm.
And then on Instagram, it's kind of like the opposite. Well, it's or but similar in the sense that you don't have the same control over your experience, but like you have more control over your experience. But um, I think they're trying to like make sure there's not a lot of hate on Instagram, and I get that. It's a really noble goal. Um, we shouldn't have like transphobia and all this toxic shit on Instagram. But the way that they police it is through just like AI algorithms that have no sense of nuance or understanding of how people communicate. So I think the AI is just not smart enough. And in the meantime, they need to rely on human moderators, which is very fraught. I don't know. I mean, I wish if it was easy to solve the sort of content moderation problem, it would be solved. But I think Instagram goes too far on what they crack
The
down on.
way I've thought about this is that they will do whatever it takes to get the um, whoever complains the loudest, who also has like purchasing power, will get
Hmm.
their way. I mean, it's like it's that old saying like might is right, and I think that's true. It's like it's clearly a commercial venture, and they want to make a ton of money. So if they can have a business-friendly landscape, they will do whatever it takes.
100%.
And
Totally.
you know, again, like I don't necessarily think that Instagram or most of the bigger for-profit social media platforms that they don't care about us. They try to further their own interests, and then we can use it if we want to, as long as we align with that. And
100%.
right, like once you think about it that way, it's like, oh, okay, then this, it's not fair and it's not good, but it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've come to make peace with, I think, a lot of it, but just understanding that you're dealing with someone who is like a populist bully in a way, like that's what the platform is. Yeah.
100% agree with you.
Um, do you see alternatives that are better?
No, unfortunately not.
Yeah, yeah,
We live it because, the way the tech ecosystem is set up in the US especially, it's just a monopoly, and Facebook and Google have that monopoly. I think they've slightly been challenged by TikTok, but TikTok is owned by a multi-billion-dollar Chinese tech conglomerate, so there's just no room for, like, upstart social
yeah.
platforms.
And the response mainly has been allowing like what's it called, the China phobia to
Oh, yeah, xenophobia, yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
the crazy shit that they've said about TikTok is, like, it's delusional. And I'm not saying that TikTok isn't worth scrutiny, but,
Yeah,
like,
of course, of course.
they just lie about it all the time, and it's
Yeah,
like, if you have critiques, but don't lie about, like, don't make things up.
yeah, exactly. But you see it. I don't know. The more I think about it in the context of social media, the more I think about it for society and foreign policy and politics and stuff. It's you see very much the same sentiment carried through in these different channels, where the powers that be, the small little elite that owns all the communication channels, they have the same interests, and then they will act on it in the same way. And now it's just, yeah, it's a little scary to me because they have so much control over who says what to whom, uh, and we don't have much of an option. And they always talk about the internet as being this great democratization tool, but in reality, I think we're going in the direct opposite direction.
I
Um,
totally agree with
yeah,
you. Totally agree.
a little scary.
It's
What's
terrifying.
what's your outlook on life? Like, where are we headed as a society, as a world?
Oh god. Well, I mean, not in a great direction. Like you're saying, sort of like we live in a late capitalist kind of hellscape where corporations have infinite power, and as you mentioned, we don't have um, really democratic ways to communicate. All of our communication channels are increasingly mediated by these like giant tech conglomerates with commercial interests. The media landscape is really fucked up. Um, so I think we're in like a bad place. But I also think that we're in a transitional period where, I mean, the internet's not that old, and people are sort of, we're so early in this new era of connectedness. And I think we've like learned some hard lessons. Um, and I think, yeah, I think, and I mean, privacy is really important in the future. I think like there's been a huge erosion in privacy because of all the data harvesting and stuff, facial recognition, like all that stuff is really kind of worrying to me. So
Oh, can
we'll
I
see
just
how that,
mention a couple of things that are on the topic of that specifically? Because you mentioned you're
yeah,
immunocompromised. I know during one of the earlier like peaks of COVID, um, there were hospitals in the UK where they issued a non-consensual "do not resuscitate" order to people that have Down syndrome, because they said, we
yeah,
are getting so close to capacity. If we are in a situation where someone is close to dying, or are dying, we don't have the resources to distribute them evenly. Where should we start to like say no, and make those choices? And they came to the conclusion that I guess people with Down syndrome were viewed as costly or not worth saving somehow. So they issued an order along those same effects. I thought of that, and I thought about the implication for privacy, and specifically where we have, on the one hand, people saying, we have to destigmatize mental illness, and we have to have people saying, like, I sometimes get a little bit stressed. That's really good because then it's like, oh, what a relatable story and all those things. But as soon as someone goes and they say, I burnt out, I've been dealing with psychosis or whatever it may be, then all of a sudden they get denied their life insurance applications at Prudential, like, and all of a sudden it has intergenerational effects on their entire community and family and all those things, just because they try to remove the stigma around what it means to be a human in a society that puts so much pressure on people. And then if you take that
exactly.
further again, like, it's so scary to me. And at the same time, we have these billionaires, a handful of them, I don't know, 700 something in the US, um, with outsized influence. No one's like moderating them and their objectives. and they have the power to harvest all this data based on people sharing openly and based on where people are or who they associate with. Um, yeah, terrifying.
It's terrifying.
What do
And
we
also that's
do?
I mean, I think we need awareness that this is going on. I think there's way too many people drinking the billionaire Kool-Aid
Yeah,
that are like, "Oh no, Mr. Musk, like, sir, thank you."
yeah. What a
Like,
productivity genius, huh?
yeah, "Oh no, like billionaires really just work harder than all of us." It's like,
Totally. Yeah.
no, no. Um, yeah. So I think I think that we need a recognition of sort of capitalism being the root problem with a lot of these things. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. Like, I think you can't fix the system without looking at I think we need to sort of like fix a lot of structural, deep issues. And I think we have this like complete runaway capitalist system that's like is so exploitative and fucked up. And especially when it comes to healthcare. And the UK, you're talking about a place that at least has public healthcare. We don't even have that. Like, we're
Yeah.
one of the few countries on earth. I mean, it's insane. And exactly like what you said about destigmatizing or whatever. I mean, I think that so much with health stuff. I'm very open about being immunocompromised, but I try to not get into too much detail because, as you mentioned, insurance companies use that stuff against you.
Yeah.
And people have their claims denied because of what they've posted. They posted about their condition on Facebook or something. So um, it's horrible. But we need people
Yeah.
to wake the fuck up and realize that, because I think a lot of people are like, they just want this like dumb incremental change that's never going to get us anywhere.
Yeah, they want awareness but no action. I think I see it a lot in the business sphere where people say, we're gonna put the trans flag on the door, or we're gonna change our logo for the month, or whatever it may be. But the things that actively contribute to the fundamental problem are not to be touched ever,
Yeah,
because why would you go there when that is yeah, again, like, it's the thing that's putting food on your table, or you're funding your kid's college future, whatever it may be. So they don't want to get into that stuff. So the solution will always be like, what's a more sustainable new thing that I can buy, as opposed to maybe not buying anything, which is the most sustainable thing. But we've set up, like, the whole society just feels like a mill, and we're getting closer and closer to being crushed in this thing unless we sort of exploit others around us. And I don't think it's necessarily the malice of Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg, but more, yeah, it's like death by a thousand cuts. Like, it's a little thing here and there that we're all contributing to, but fundamentally there are people that could do something about it that choose not to, because they want to own a small country somewhere, or have another couple of yachts.
totally. And I
Yeah,
think average people will exploit and be horrible to exactly what you said,
yeah,
other people, if it gets them a leg up, or if just because of their inconvenience. I mean, I'm just so shocked at like, I think COVID really opened my eyes to the cruelty of people, where it's like, what kind of a monster are you that you don't think, like, you won't even do like the most basic thing to like keep someone alive or like
yeah,
not expose them to a deadly virus? Like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah,
people have no humanity. But I think that's because the system strips us of this humanity and indoctrinates people with this like hyper individualistic thinking.
yeah,
And there's no collectivism and community, and for so many reasons. So yeah, there's so many problems that gotta be fixed.
yeah.
But
How do you keep your spirits high? Because I mean, from my perspective, you're like a happy person.
yeah, I'm a pretty chill, happy person, I guess. I mean, it's like I live in LA, I can't complain. And I don't know. I like to see where things go, I guess. So I'm like,
Yeah,
let's see how this plays out.
yeah. I'm with you on that one. I think, if nothing else, I can at least like laugh at the absurdity of everything that's happening all the time, and I take great solace in that. Like, when some atrocious thing, like, it's at least we can laugh. You know.
100%. That's like all we have in life.
Yeah, yeah,
And
that's right.
and like it's nice to find other people that sort of again like see the world that you see and kind of like can laugh with you about it, or
Yeah,
just be like, oh, this is fucking crazy.
totally, totally. What should the perfect social media platform look like?
Oh, good question. I mean, I think it would give users ultimate control over their data and allow people to take, like, have a direct relationship with their followers or audience,
Hmm.
and not necessarily be like have all this like intermediary algorithms and stuff. Not to say that the perfect social media app shouldn't have algorithms. I think ideally it would have an algorithm that just delivers you all the best content.
Hmm.
But also, if you want to be able to reach people directly with like an announcement or something, like I think you should be able to like push your content to everyone if you have something important to kind of say.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and not owned by like a psychotic billionaire, but owned maybe like collectively by the people that use it or something, like,
Yeah.
just
I mean, it is a public infrastructure at this point. You know.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally
So
agree.
why is
Yeah,
it not? Why is it not treated as such?
yeah.
Um, I know we're getting like a little bit close to time, and you have things to do and people to meet. Can you give me a couple of accounts, maybe three, that you really like, and a brief,
Oh, wow, good question.
yeah, some recent favorites.
Let me pull up my page. Um, well, I love Joan of Arca.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
It's just Joan dot of dot Arca.
Yeah.
She's so great. Um, what other accounts? Oh my gosh, I have to see like who I'm following. Oh, I love the account left for rat, LEFT, the number four rat, RAT.
Okay, I'll look
That
into that
account
one.
is funny. Oh my God, I love that account. And then I mean, my favorite, he's so I'm giving like the most normie accounts that like have hundreds of thousands of followers, but I love the guy that's Northwest MCM Wholesale.
Herman.
That guy,
Yeah,
you know him?
yeah, he's amazing.
So funny.
Yeah.
I love him. I
And
mean, again,
I don't know how he does it. Like he keeps cranking out this like original content that's so
all day.
precise. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's,
He's so good at it. It's
yeah,
crazy. I don't know anything about him other than like he's a furniture dealer, I
yeah,
guess.
something with furniture. I'm not sure. Yeah,
Because he posts a lot about furniture, but it's
yeah.
so funny because it made me like have opinions about furniture, like just from his account. I'm like, oh my God.
So funny.
Um,
Okay, so that's great. Thank you so much for that. And then, is there anything? No, there is something, I'm sure. What do you wish that more people knew? Can be big, small, personal, about, anything.
oh, hmm, good question. What do I wish more people knew? I mean, there's like so much, but also like I'm like, what is like the fact or like what is like the one thing people
What is worth knowing? Yeah. What is
is worth
knowledge?
knowing? I know. I don't know. I mean, I wish people knew that billionaires are exploiting all of us. Like,
Yeah,
I think I've been on Twitter too much because, like, on Twitter, everyone that you see now is like a blue check Elon Musk fan, and it's driving me insane. And I'm truly like, is this the world? Like, why are people like listening to this man? It's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
So I don't know. I guess I want people to know, like, don't listen to Elon Musk.
yeah, yeah. Fair enough. Um, I forget if I have it now, but at least at some point recently, I had what's it called, the profile bio? Yeah, it said like um, steps to becoming a billionaire. Step one, save $1 million per year, and then step two, do this for 1,000 years. Like the exploitation is so outrageous, and the more you think about it, the more it's like, how do these people live with themselves? But who am I
Yeah.
to judge? Yeah.
Well, we can
um,
judge them.
yeah, I think we should. Is there anything you would like to ask me?
Ooh,
Sorry for putting you on the spot again and again and again, but
oh,
yeah.
good question too. Well, what are some of your favorite accounts?
I think that's an easy one for me. Whoever is watching this video, just go to the playlist. It's called
Oh yeah.
Instagram Admins. Those are my favorite accounts. I've talked to, I think, 13 or 14 people or something like that now. Um, and I've loved every single one of them. And I feel so privileged that like my actual Instagram heroes have agreed to to doing this with me. So yeah, those are my favorite accounts.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, it's an honor to be among them.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate it so much. What was this interview like compared to your expectations?
This was so fun.
Yeah?
I had a
Okay.
great time. I
Yeah.
love chatting about Instagram. Like, I could talk about it forever. So, yeah,
Amazing.
it's fun. I don't get to talk about it very much because I'm the one asking the questions.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, but it becomes so evident for me that you know what you're talking about. Like, you've spent some time doing good thinking, critical thinking around this topic. So, like, what a pleasure for me to just, yeah, get to talk to you. If
well,
there is ever like a round two of this, do you mind if I reach out again?
of course.
Okay, amazing.
Anytime.
All right. Well, like I mentioned before, I'll send you an unlisted link. You can have a look and see if you're comfortable with me sharing this. If so, I'll share it. If not, just let me know and I can edit stuff out or not post anything. I'm easy. Um,
Okay.
that's everything that I was hoping to cover this time. Thank you again. Like you're amazing. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
It's so nice to get to meet you.
Yeah.
And
Likewise.
yeah, hit me up. And I hope you have a great rest of your Saturday.
Same to you. Thank you. Bye now.
Bye.